Well, when it comes to, let's say, the pillar of stress, and from a naturopathic approach, what would you do for a client who had high levels of stress?
So what I would have done, and I still will to a degree, is we would have looked at so we would have talked about sources of stress, where it started again, all of that, to get the background, let them tell the narrative. Very important in all this medicine is to hear the story. But I might have recommended adrenal support after testing, some kind of, and I still do actually, adaptogens like withania, the panics, adaptogens, that family, Astragalus, some of them that are good for immune system too, depending on what the whole picture is. So, so that's like going up the pyramid a little bit further, but essentially to address stress on that base level, it's the same. It's the same as what you know. It's the same as functional medicine. We're trying to get to the root cause, and a lot of that again is connection, right? So I mean, it's basically when we're on that lower level, when we're working that part of the pyramid, when we're working that part of the matrix, I think we all have similar approaches.
Even from a yogic approach, I used to do a stress management workshop, and I used to ask, I had this tree, and then I would say, okay, well, tell me what you do to alleviate stress, and what do you do? Whether it's, go for a bike ride, go for drinking, food, medicine, I mean, all these different things. And I would write them as leaves on the tree. And then I'd say, okay, well, that's how you try and get rid of your stress, but let's go to the root cause. So you go down the trunk and into the roots to find, why are you so stressed? What is not handling in your life that you would like to handle differently? So in that capacity.
It's all very uncommon. And I'll tell you what, but functional medicine practitioners are MDs and DOs, and licensed NDs. You can't become a functional medicine practitioner without that. And so it's because we're not licensed in all states, it's hard to have unity, because there's so many different practices of medicine, systems of medicine that are part of naturopathic medicine. I think it makes it harder. Homeopathic medicine is its own system, which a lot of people get confused with naturopathic medicine. And you and I talked about it, would be a whole nother subject, definitely. But it's a modality. There used to be homeopathic medical schools. I mean, it used to be a system of medicine. You were a homeopathic physician. They still are very common as a system of medicine in India and in Europe, where you see a homeopathic physician and they treat you using homeopathy, which is a very individualized. That's where I learned to say what makes it better, what makes it worse. Because those things, what time of day do you experience this? Where, what does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? And matching a remedy to your very individualized picture. But it still takes, it's that individual medicine again.
That's really, in my opinion, I mean, I'll just share my own opinion versus, I'm not speaking on behalf of anybody else, but when it comes time for any kind of medicine, it really should be that personalized, that individualized, because we are all unique. We all have our own thumbprint. And, one person can have, diabetes, and I could have diabetes, but because of my food choices or my lifestyle, I may deal with diabetes differently. I will, because, my genetics, I mean, there's so many predispositions that go with the human body, my mindset, that will make me a different patient than, the person sitting next to me at the doctor's office. And yet that doctor may prescribe the same medication for both of us in the same quantities and the same, which is, there's nothing personalized about that whatsoever. It's like, here's a pill, take it and let me know if it works out. I mean,
and some of these pills work out for 1 out of 6 people, or even up to 1 out of 24. Prilosec is one of those. That doesn't work for everybody. It's like 1 out of 16 people that might work for. And yeah, so individualized medicine is a big part of naturopathic medicine, as we've seen with other. And the one thing that I keep forgetting to mention, which is common among others too, is certainly what we've learned, is preventative medicine. And the difference between treating disease as disease, treating a code, an ICD-9 code or ICD-10, whatever we're up to now, treating that code for insurance, and treating or addressing imbalances, but preventing them. Like for us to, and you know, there's an old Chinese proverb I meant to look up again, but about a good doctor or a poor doctor, a good doctor, and the highest level doctor, the most excellent doctor, doesn't want to see their patient again. They want their patient to be able to heal themselves. And that's a big tenet of naturopathic medicine too, and what we've been talking about.
Yeah, it's also I think it should also be a tenet of being a coach. You know, to be whether you are a life coach, a health coach, a functional medicine certified health coach, you really should be working to coach yourself out of the job with that client, because
right
to heal. I mean, I was talking to someone, this is years ago, who was a life coach, and she had the same client for like 10 years. And I said, well, I hope that you're peeling away layers of this person's life, because for 10 years, the same person are they still coming back to the same issues? And she said, yeah, they still have. I said, then you're like a therapist. So you're not even a coach, because a coach would be, moving that person in a direction.
Even a therapist. I know people that have worked with a therapist for 30 years. It's time to break away here.
All you wanted was
we're going to take this and not only, we're learning and healing ourselves and empowering that dynamic, innate ability that our body wants to come into balance and wants to heal. We can take that out. There's a lot of people that need this medicine.
Yeah.
Not only can we heal ourselves, but we can heal others as well. We can become.
What is that? Physician heal thyself? Isn't that
physician heal thyself? That's more like I need to heal myself, so I'm going to see you to help me heal myself, so I can take that out. That's
Hippocrates said it. I mean, Hippocrates was the founding father of.
Yes, that's a very important concept. I do not want to minimize that at all. It is very important. We must heal ourselves first.
If they'd like to reach out to you and connect with you, how would they find you?
They can go to Cultivate Holistic Wellness, which is with a W.
In the frame down below, I'll put it in there. So go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the Cultivate holisticwellness.com is my website. Coach at cultivateholisticwellness.com. I don't usually put my number in there, but I'm on Facebook under Cultivate Holistic Wellness and Dr. Jen B. ND, I think. Something like that. Twitter and Instagram, Dr. Jen B. ND. Yeah, so lots of ways. I answer quickly. I'm very anxious to talk to people. Not anxious, but I love to talk to people and start the journey with them. And I'll always offer some kind of intro session that won't cost anybody anything, to just see if it's a fit, if I'm a fit, if we're a fit, and if they think I can help.
Well, good. Oh, good. And I will mention that with being a nationally board certified coach, whether it's through FMCA, Functional Medicine Coaching Academy, but with the board, they don't accept all coaching schools across the country. So they have a list on their website, which I'll include below as well. So if anyone is looking for a certified coach and who is a board certified, board recognized, there is an exam process. You don't just do 50 hours of coaching and then, get your board certification for your boards. It's a very serious process. So it's not something that's taken lightly. It's like earlier when we were saying, if you, wherever you are from where you're watching this, is make sure that whomever you are working with is someone who's certified, just because they had a piece of paper from a weekend program, but someone who really has invested their time, their money, their life. It's their passion, because helping people from the inside out, it's a calling. It's not something that is for everybody, and I really believe that people can feel it when they work with you, whether or not you are authentically passionate about helping others. It's there's a that comes with it that is very humbling and very rewarding at the same time.
Agreed, 100%. And I appreciate you doing that. It's very important to those of us that have put that time and effort and a good chunk of ourselves into this.
Oh yeah, it's been a long awaited celebration, that's for sure. So as we wrap up, is there anything that that you wanted to mention before we sign off for the day?
No, I mean, I know I left out some modalities under the naturopathic medicine thing, and maybe we'll have another chance to talk about, some of those. There's a whole thing called constitutional hydrotherapy that's really interesting. Constitutional homeopathy, which, I mean, we're treating like the whole constitution of a person, is where they got those names. Hydrotherapy is interesting on its own, but definitely that constitutional hydrotherapy piece. And its history in this country and the world is fascinating, really. I mean, so I'd have to prepare a little bit.
I just had the flash of a colon cleanse going through my head.
Not that that's is a form of hydrotherapy. That's not what I'm referring to, but it is. But it is what I'm referring to too, because that just ice on a wound is hydrotherapy, technically speaking. But definitely, you will see the word hydrotherapy and what is it? Colon something.
What's the colon? Colon is not called. It's a colon hydrotherapy. I see them that these days as a colon hydrotherapy, because I think the original term doesn't sound very pleasant.
No, and it wasn't pleasant in school either when our colleagues did that to each other, for each other as a service. Now, one of the highlights of my career. Let's not end there. Constitutional hydrotherapy.
All right, so what we'll do is we'll plan a follow-up episode, and we'll discuss the constitutional hydrotherapy and constitutional homeopathy, and then get into that too.
That would be great. That would be fun.
Well, thank you for your time today. I apologize for the power outages that we dealt with, but it's just you roll with the punches. You got to deal with mother, and it's not even storming outside. That's the crazy thing on the street somewhere. So thank you, Dr. Jen Bitner, for joining me today with the Escape Hatch to Wellness. And for everyone who's listening, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And thank you so much, and stay tuned for more.